Oh,
Ayo.
hello everyone, good night. And in this video, we are wanted to read our article, and we started our presentation with our introduce. Let me introduce myself. My name is Muhammad Rafi Ardiansyah. I'm from SMK Negeri Surabaya, and I'm from multimedia. Next.
Okay, my name is Muhammad Hafiz Rashid from SMKN 1 Surabaya, majoring in multimedia. Next.
Hello, my name is Ariel Indrisha Putra. I'm from school SM.
Hello, I am. My name is Rafiq Irfaan Maulana. I'm from SMK Negeri 1 Sandet.
Okay, guys. I wanted to read my article about IMF approves $3 billion bailout for cash-starved Pakistan. Uh, apa? Okay. The article written by Asif Shahzad, Reuters or Islamabad. The International Monetary Fund's board approved a $3 billion pilot program for Pakistan, which will immediately disperse about $1.2 billion to help stabilize the South Asian island economy, the leader said on Wednesday. Pakistan and the fund reached a staff level agreement last month, securing a short-term pact which got more than the expected funding for the country of 230 million people, which faces an acute balance of payments crisis with only enough central bank reserves to cover barely amount of controlled imports. The board approval was mandatory before disbursing the first tranche, with the rest to arrive later in installments. Economic stabilization. The IMF Executive Board approved a 9 month standby arrangement (SBA) for Pakistan for the amount of SDR 2,250 million, about $3 billion or 111% of quota. To support the authorities' economic stabilization program, the lender said in a statement. It said Pakistan faced a difficult external environmental, devastating floods and policy means that have led to large fiscal and external deficit, raising inflation and eroded reserve buffer in 23 FY. The dial lifeline for Pakistan, which has been on the cusp of default, came after 8 months of thorough negotiations over fiscal discipline. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif said the bailout was a major step forward in the government effort to stabilize the economy and achieve macroeconomic stability. It bolstered Pakistan's economic position to overcome immediate to medium-term economic challenges, giving the government the fiscal space to carve the way forward, he said. Terming it a milestone, Sharif said it was a shift against the heaviest of odds and against a seemingly impossible deadline. Sharif's coalition government is due to face a national election this year and must undertake more painful fiscal discipline measures satisfy the IMF. It included the central bank raising its policy interest rate to a record hike of 22% with ordinary Pakistanis struggle with inflation running at about to 29% and the government raising 385 billion rupees, about $1.39 billion in a new taxes policy ensure. The IMF said the fresh funding will provide a policy ensure for addressing domestic and external imbalance and a framework for financial support from multilateral and bilateral partners. The program will focus on implementation of the FY24 budget to facilitate Pakistan's needed fiscal adjustment and ensure debt sustainability while protecting critical social spending. A return to a market determined exchange rate and proper FX market functioning to absorb external shocks and eliminate uh, FX shortages, it said. The IMF said it wanted Islam about to ensure that a tight monetary policy aimed at disinflation and further progress on structural reforms, particularly in the energy sector, state-owned enterprise governance, and climate resilience. The deal, which has already brought some real life to investors in the country's stock exchange trade and bond will unlock more external financing. Okay, it's my presentation. Next, Muhammad Rashid, can you tell about your newspaper? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for Muhammad Rafli Ardiansyah. Now, I want to read my newspaper about the past 4 years shrinking domestic Indonesia research and Republic Indonesia rubber export. Jakarta is the world expecting expansion in the rubber industry in the near future, but Indonesia may not get a piece of pie in the face lagging downstream of commodity. The value global rubber market expect to reach 51.21 billion US dollar by 2027 from 40.77 billion US dollar in 2019 due to rising demand from the automotive construction and aerospace industry, according to a report from Virgin Business Insight. The other factor in expanding market for natural rubber driven by increasing demand for tires and industrial durable goods, such as linings of petroleum and chemical tanks, as well as automatic gasket and seals. Aziz Ben, a chairman in the Indonesia Rubber Council, told Indonesia Post of Wednesday that Indonesia might not be able to develop downstream PE industry in the time says enormous opportunity. Indonesia rubber industry suffered significant, as he said, pointing as increased number to rubber factory that had closed in the last 4 years. The closure was due declining raw material, he explained, whereas other countries were continuing to incentivize plantation expansion and downstream industry development. As is pointed to example of Thailand, whereas stream output was used as input for that country rubber industry contrast. Roughly a mere 15% of a total rubber in Indonesia absorbed by domestic industry. Indonesia produced 3.14 million tons of natural rubber last year, according to Statistics Indonesia or BPS, a figure that has remained stagnant for the past decade, according to International Trade Center data. Trade map, Indonesia is the world's second largest export of natural rubber after Thailand, but its output has been facultating a downward trend of the last 5 years. BPS showed that Indonesia shipped 3.94 million tons of rubber in 2017, after which rubber shipment declined each year to reach 2.78 million tons in 2022, a total decline almost 30%. If a condition continues to persist today, Indonesia will not be able to maintain its position as second largest rubber producer worldwide, let alone develop up downstream industry. It is a pity because Indonesia has enormous potential. That's as it said. Erwin Tunas, Executive Director Indonesia Rubber Producers Association, or Kekindo, told the Post on Wednesday that rubber industry and nationwide processing capacity of 4.6 million tons, but it only see 2.6 million tons supply of the raw material. Indonesia has relatively high processing capacity, but is not coupled steady growth natural rubber output, Erwin told in the Post Wednesday. He attributed decline production primary of like rubber rejuvenation plantation combined with disease and extreme weather impact from La Nina last 3 years. For assisting smallholder rubber farmer, the challenge had been exacerbated by growing difficulty obtaining subsidized fertilizer recent years. Erwin said, statistics reported reflects global price rubber was 1.54 dollar per kilogram as of April. This marked a sharp fall from the peak of 4.82 per kilogram in 2011, according to Singapore Commodity Exchange. In the wheat global per decline, Indonesia from Kate price for rubber had dropped between 8,000 until 9,000 rupiah per kilogram, while ideal price above 10,000 kilogram, rupiah per kilogram, Erwin said. Jim Jacobs, chief analyst, co-founder, ex-Next Rubber Media International, said Indonesia used to be the preferred source natural rubber many automobile companies in the world, mainly because its cost advantage over South Asian pairs. However, Indonesian lost rubber lost cost advantage over the past few years due to poor yield of latex rubber holding. He wrote Linda Campbell's article published in 2022. Indonesia sugarcane trend was likely continuous years less the rubber holding the country are transformed to be economically viable by reaching the average yield. Jacob wrote, this would include well-designed, accelerate repainting programs, support attractive financial incentive that meet the huge replanting cost. The development costed replant trees yield after a gestation period of around 7 years. Okay, that's it from me, Arizal Windry.
Okay,
Coordination
Hafiz.
of Rupaus
Succeeded in
the
attack
best
on
is
the
a
Mexican
great
police.
lake. Thank you
Agency
for the
French
love
Press
said
Gundala Raja,
odds
Mexican.
to Paul
An
Charles.
explosive
Next
attack
so far.
on a police patrol six people dead and
With
15 wounded in on the region of Michigan was hit by drug cartel-related violence. Authorities said on the Wednesday is a act of brutal terror, said Enrique Alfaro, governor of the western state of Jalisco. The attack Thursday night using seven explosive devices target police and staff from the state prosecutor office in Tlajomulco de Zúñiga, south of the city of Undalaraja. He said the region is home to the Jalisco new generation cartel of Mexican mass powerful and violent drug trafficking groups. This is an presented event so what
Please.
their organization groups are capable of, Alvaro said, with hot accustomed specific organization. This attack this attack also represents a challenge against the Mexican state as a whole. He added, intimidation tactics. Well, firearms are the weapon of choice for a cartel member. A carbon kill on national government and wounded order in June in Guangzhou. Another state hit hard by gang-related violence. The cartels appear to be employing increasingly radical tactics to terrorist security forces, according experts. These are strategies of extreme to intimidation the authorities and the population. Gerardo Rodriguez, uh, France technical investigation on Wednesday the site of an explosive attack against a police patrol in Tlajomulco de Zúñiga, sub in Cundaracha, Jalisco State, Mexico. Such are the Universidad de las Americas Puebla, a private university told AFP. This month, explosive laden drone struck a house in Mexican, another reference located state, waiting on person. Blood drone attack have been reported in all the cartel flashpoint. The object is to reduce the firepower of river from all the cartels as well as the security forces and provoke terror among the civilian population. Security consultant David Sojindo told AFP. The receiving such as no the Jalisco new generation cartel in particular is known for launching brazen attacks against authorities. In 2015, Michigan shot down an army helicopter with rocket propelled grenade kill member of security forces. The police patrol was responding to a report from a member of group searching for missing relatives who said she had received an anonymous phone call and tip about Cadiz Graves. The governor said it was a trap. He added that version of event, however, was called into question by one such evil society organization in the region. This call was never made to use. Indira Navarro, a member of a collective of mother of missing person in Jalisco, told the press, adding that such group were in close contact. More than 110,000 people are listed as having disappeared on Michigan, and even looking for them can carry significant risks. Jalisco has the most missing among the country, 32 states, around 15,000. Mexico has recorded more than 314,000 more since the launch of a controversial military anti-drug offensive in 2006. Most attributed to criminal organization. Also, one Thursday, 13 security personnel who had been captured the day before by plots in the southern state of Guerrero were released after negotiation with authorities. Officials said the protests were initiated by a criminal group in Guerrero, which has endured years of violent linked to wars between drug cartels. Next, Rafif Irfan Maulana.
Okay, I will ready newspaper. Where are solid fuel missile and why is and Korea developing them? Hayon Shin, Router Seoul. North Korea has flown 18 intercontinental ballistic missile ICBM launched for the second time on Wednesday using solid fuel technology, giving it the ability to launch with little preparation. Here are some characteristics of solid fuel technology and how it can help the country improve in missile systems. What is solid fuel technology? Solid propellant are a mixture of fuel and oxidizer metallic powder, such as aluminum, often serve as the fuel, and ammonium perchlorate, which is the salt of perchloric acid, and ammonia is the most common oxidizer. The fuel and oxidizer are bound together by a hard rubbery mat missile rail and packed into a metal casing. When solid propellant pulls oxygen from the ammonium perchlorate combines with aluminum to generate enormous amounts of energy and temperature of more than 2760 degrees Celsius, spreading close and lifting the missile from the launch pad. Was the technology solid fuel data back to fire was developed by the Chinese centuries ago, but it made a dramatic progress in the mid 20th century when the United States developed more powerful power plants. North Korea uses solid fuel in a range of small short range ballistic missile. The Soviet Union failed in its very solid full ICBM, the 32 in the early 1970, followed by French development of it S3, also known as SBS, medium range ballistic. China started lasting solid full ICBM in the late 1990, more survivable than liquid fuel. South Korea has also had is has weapons for aviation and advanced solid powerline ballistic missile technology top in most smaller rockets so far. Solid versus liquid. Liquid powerline for greater propulsion thrust and power would require more complex technology and extra weight. Solid fuel is denser and burns quickly generating dust over a short time. Solid fuel can remain in storage for an extended period without degrading or breaking down. I common issue with liquid fuel. Fun define from US government website expert who know what with the 38 North project said solid fuel missile air Acer and safer to operator and require less logistical support making them harder to detect and again Panda a senior fellow and the US based Carnegie Dow meant for international patch site and country that operator large scale missile based nuclear focus I words like solid powerland missiles which do not need to be fueled immediately ahead of launch. Then capability are more responsive in a time of crisis pandemic. North Korea said development of its new solid fuel ICBM, the Hwasong 18, will radical promote its nuclear counterattack capability. After the first launch, South Korea Defense Ministry sought to downplay the testing, saying the North would need extra time and effort to master the technology. On Tuesday, a ministry spokesperson said they were still analyzing the last launch. Thank you. Next, Rafli Ardiansyah.
Okay, thank you very much, Raffi Irfan. And I will read my article again about IMF approved $3 billion. Test, test. Okay, I wanted to tell you about my article. IMF approved $3 billion payload for cash starved Pakistan. The article written by Ashif Sanzet, Reuters or Islamabad. The International Monetary Fund Board approved a US $3 billion payload program for Pakistan, which will immediately disperse about $1.2 billion to help stabilize the South Asian ailing economy, the lender said on Wednesday. Pakistan and the fund reached a staff-level agreement last month, securing a short-term pact which got more than expected funding for the enemy of 230 million people, which faces an accurate balance of payment decreases with only enough central bank reserve to cover barely amount of controlled imports. The board approval was mandatory before disbursing the first tranche, with the rest to arrive later in installments. Economic stabilization. The IMF Executive Board approved a 9-month standby arrangement for Pakistan for an amount of SDR 2,250 million, about $3 billion, or 111% of quota. To support the authorities' economic stabilization programs, the lender said in a statement. It said Pakistan faced a difficult external environment, devastating floods, and policy missteps have led to large fiscal and external deficits, rising inflation, and eroded reserve buffer in FY23. The deal a lifeline for Pakistan, which has been on the cusp of default, came after 8 months of due negotiations over fiscal discipline. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif said the bailout was a major step forward in the government efforts to stabilize the economy and achieve macroeconomic stability. It bolstered Pakistan's economic position to overcome immediate to medium-term economic challenges, giving the government the fiscal space to carve the way forward, he said. Terming a milestone, Sharif said it was achieved again the heaviest of odds and against a seemingly impossible deadline. Sharif's coalition government is due to face a national election this year and must undertake more painful fiscal discipline measures to satisfy the IMF. It included the central bank raising its policy interest rate to a record high of 22%, while ordinary Pakistanis gradual with inflation running at about 29% and the government raising 385 billion rupees, about $1.39 billion in new taxes. Policy answer. The IMF said the fresh funding will provide a policy answer for addressing domestic and external imbalance and a framework for financial support from multilateral and bilateral partners. The program will focus on implementation of the FY24 budget to facilitate Pakistan's needed fiscal adjustment and ensure debt sustainability while protecting critical social spending. A return to a market determined exchange rate and proper FX market functioning to absorb external shocks and eliminate FX shortages. It said the IMF said it wanted Islamabad to ensure a tight monetary policy aimed at disinflation and future progress on structural reforms, particularly in energy sector, state-owned enterprise governance, and climate resilience. The deal, which has already proved some relief to investors in the country's stocks, exchange rate, and bond, will unlock more external financing. Okay, this is for me. And next, Muhammad Rashid, can you tell about your next paper?
Okay. Attention. It's prepare for the shaker round. Okay. Jakarta was expecting expansion of the rubber industry in the near future, but Indonesia might not get this pie downstream of commodity. The value global market expect reached 51.21 billion US dollar by 2027 from 40.77 billion US dollar in 2019 due to rising demand from the automotive construction and aerospace industry, according to a report from the Virgin, because inside the other factor include the expanding market for natural rubber driven by increased demand for tires and industrial durable goods, such as lining for petroleum and chemical tanks, as well automotive gasket and seals. As Spain, chairman of the Indonesian Rubber Council told Indonesian of Wednesday that Indonesia might not be able to develop downstream rubber industry in time, says enormous opportunity. Indonesia rubber industry suffered significant decline, as they said, pointing in increased number rubber factory has closed last 4 years. The closure was due to material explain where countries continuing incentivize plantation expansion and downstream industry development. As they said, points the example of Thailand, their almost output industry use inputs country rubber industry contrast wrote 15% of the rubber output in Indonesia absorbed by domestic industry. Indonesia produced 3.14 million tons of natural rubber last year, according to the Statistic of Indonesia, or BPS, a figure that has remained stagnant for the past decade. According to the International Trade Standard in online data trade map, Indonesia in the world second largest export of natural rubber after Thailand, but output has been fluctuating in downward trend for the last 5 years. PPS that Indonesia shipped 3.54 million rubber in 2017 after rubber shipment decline is to 2.78 million tons in 2022, a total decline almost 30%. And as I said, if conditional in conditions persist today, Indonesia not be able to maintain position the second large rubber producer worldwide, let alone develop downstream industry, is a pity because Indonesia had enormous potential. Erwina's executive for Indonesia Rubber Association in Kakpindo told the Post on Wednesday that rubber industry had a nationwide processing capacity 4.6 million tons, but only see 2.6 million tons supply the raw material. Had result a relative utilization of 57.4. He continued, and many factories end up closing because a shortage of natural rubber. Indonesian are relatively high processing capacity, but not couple steady growth in natural rubber output. Erwin said and told a post on Wednesday. He has reported a decline in productivity for the primary of lack rejuvenation plantation combined with disease and extreme weather impact from La Nina the last 3 years. Consequently, he said farmers switching cultivation for oil palms instead because they were demand profitable. For existing smallholder, rubber farmer sales has been expertly growing difficult in obtaining substantial fertilizer, recent Erwin said. From the its peak of 4.82 in per kilogram in 2011, according to Singapore Commodity Exchange, in line Indonesia global price in decline. Indonesia market price rubber has dropped between 8,000 until 9,000 rupiah per kilogram, while the ideal was both 10,000 rupiah per kilogram. Erwin said. Jom Jacob, chief analytic co-founder, was Next Media International, said Indonesia to be the preferred source of natural for many automobile tire companies in the world, mainly because it cost advantage over its South Asian peers. However, Indonesian natural has lost its advantage of over past few years for yield in last tax proper holding. He wrote in London King articles published Augustus 2022 in the industry thinking trend was likely to continue useless. The rubber holding the country are transformed to be economically viable, raising the average yield. Jacob wrote. This would include a well-designed accelerate repainting program supposed to be attractive financial incentive that meets the huge replanting costs and develop costs till replant trees start yielding after gestation period of around 7 years. Okay, that's it from me. Next, I will start with Indri.
Okay, Nafis, thank you. Sick death in attack on Mexican police. Agency French Express Guadalajara, Mexican. An explosive attack on a police patrol left 6 people dead and 14 wounded in on one the region of Mexico was hit by drug cartel violence. Authorities said on Wednesday it's an act of brutal terror, said Enrique Alvaro, governor of the western state of Jalisco. The attack Thursday night using 7 impressive explosives. The first target police and staff from the state prosecutor office in Racun Kota Junica, and south of the city of Kuntala Raja. He said the region is home to the Jalisco new generation cartel of Mexico's most powerful and violent drug trafficking groups. This is an unprecedented event that show what this organized crime group are capable of, Alvaro said, without a specific organization. This attack also represents a challenge against the Michigan state as a whole. Added intimidation tactics. Will firearms are the weapon of choice for cartel member. Carbon kill a national government and what the order in June in Kuna Juranto. Another state hit hard by gang-related violence. The cartel appear to be employing secretly a radical tactic to terrorist security force, according to experts. These are strategies of extremely violent to intimidation the authorities and the population. Gerardo Rodriguez, Terrorist for technical investigation on Wednesday, the seat of an explosive attack against a police patrol in Tlazolconyo, Unica, sub in Guadalajara, Jalisco State, Mexican. Structure at the Universidad de las Americas Puebla, a private university, told AFP. Earlier this month, explosives ladron stuck on a house in Michoacan, another violence located state. Wednesday, 1%. Similar drone attacks have often been reported in the other flashpoint. The objective is to reduce the firepower of rival from other countries as well as the security forces and provoke terror among the civil and population. Security consultant David Sujendo Toki Alfred described acts as narcoterrorism. The Jalisco Confederation cartel in particular is known for launching president attack against the authorities. In 2015, its gunmen shot down an army helicopter with rocket propelled grenade kill member of security forces. The police patrol was responding to a report from a member of a group searching for missing relatives who said they had received an anonymous phone call and tips about classified grave. The governor said it was a trap. He added that version of event however uncalled into question by one civil society organization in the region. The call was never made to use. Indira Navarro, a member of a collective of mother of missing person in Jalisco, told the press, adding that such groups were in close contact. More than 120 people are listed as having disappeared in Michigan, and even looking for them can carry significant risks. Jalisco has the most missing among the country, 32 states alone. Uh, since Mexico has recorded more than 314,000 more than the loss of a controversial military and drug offensive in 2006, must attributed to criminal organization. Also, Thursday, 30 security personnel who had been taken active the day before by protests in the southern state of Guerrero were released after record negotiation with authorities. Officials said the protests were infiltrated by a criminal group in Guerrero. which has included years of violent legs to wars between drug cartels. Next, Rafif Irfan Maulana.
Okay, I will read you my newspaper. What are solid fuel missile and why is Korea developing them? Bayon Hae-shin, Router Seoul. North Korea have shown 18 intercontinental ballistic missile (ICBM) launched for the second time and on Wednesday used solid fuel technology, giving it the capability to launch with later preparation. There are some characteristics of solid fuel technology and how it can help the country improve its mail system. What is solid fuel technology? Solid propellant are a mixture of fuel and oxygen. Metallic powder such as aluminum, often serves the fuel, and ammonium perchlorate, which is the salt of perchloric acid, and ammonia is the most common oxidizer. Fuel and oxidizer are bound together by a recovery-made missile rail and patched into a metal casing. When solid propellant pulls oxygen from the ammonium perchlorate combines with aluminum to generate a most amount of energy and temperature of more than 2760 degrees Celsius, spreading through and lifting the missile from the launch pad. Who has the technology solid fuel that data back to fire was developed by the Chinese Centaurus Aku, but it made it dramatic and its program in the mid-20th century when the United States responded for full power plant. North Korea uses solid fuel in a Ranger of small short-range ballistic missile. The Soviet Union pilot is first solid fuel ICBM, the RT-2, in the early 1970, followed by France development of its as SBS medium dengan ballistic. China started testing solid fuel ICBM in the late 1990, more survivable than fluid fuel. South Korea has also said it has been shown separate efficient and advanced. Solid propellant ballistic missiles technology took in much smaller rockets so far. Liquid versus liquid. Liquid propellant profit better propulsive thrust and power, but require more complex technology and extra weight. Solid fuel is denser and bulk quickly connecting thrust over a short time. Solid fuel can remain in storage for extended and period without triggering or breaking down. A common issue with liquid fuel. Van Devan, former U.S. government website separate express who now work with the 30 Ignore project. Satellite fuel missile are easier and safer to operate and require less logistical support, making them harder to detect and enact panda. A senior fellow at the US-based Energy Endowment for International Bank said any country that operates larger scale missile-based nuclear force I would actually properly managed. We do not need to be violent immediately ahead of launch. These capabilities are much more responsive in a time of crisis, Panda said. North Korea said the development its new solid fuel ICBM the F-Song 18 will radical promote its nuclear counterattack capability. After the launch, South Korea's defense ministry sought to downplay the testing, saying the North would need extra time and effort to master the technology. On Tuesday, a ministry spokesperson said the were still analyzing the latest launch. Okay, thank you. Next, Rafli Ardianto.
Okay, so that's our storytelling today. Thank you for listening and see our video. See you next day and goodbye.